Hey folks, welcome to the Crime Triangle channel. Before starting the video, I would like you to leave your like and subscribe to my channel. This is the second video of the channel, so it's very important to help me on this journey. Please subscribe and leave your like. Thanks in advance. Today's case happened in July of 2013, but its conclusion only came at the end of 2020. Today we will talk about the Gary Hubst case. The incident happened in Minnesota in the United States. So guys, the crime that we're going to report today started with the report of a missing person in 2013 in the city of Elko, New Market, in the state of Minnesota, in Scott County, in the United States. Well, as I've already said, the missing man's name was Gary, and he was 57 years old at the time of his disappearance. Even though the disappearance happened in July of 2013, the police report was only made in March 2014 after Gary's brother insisted that his nephew, Gary's son, go to the police to report his father's disappearance. Then Gary's son, Austin, went to the police and reported what had happened. To the police, Austin said that his father came home, grabbed some pieces of clothes, $5,000 in cash, and simply left in a gray Honda car driven by an unknown person. And since then, he has not heard from his father. Years have passed since the disappearance report was made in 2014, and the police couldn't find anything, no trace, no place where he could be, nothing. However, on the 3rd of December 2017, the Barrow Sheriff's Office received a call from a man who reported that his dog had found a piece of skull at the entrance of his house in the rural area of Wisconsin. The man reported that his dog found the skull and took it to the garage of his house, and it was chewing the piece of skull when he noticed what it was, and also reported to the police that there was a strange hole in the skull, which could be from a bullet. Well, up to this point, the officers didn't know of whose skull that was, remembering that Gary had disappeared in the state of Minnesota, but the skull was found in Wisconsin. So the police went to the area reported by the man who called about the skull, and they found near the entrance of a forest. It was right on the edge of the woods. They found a grave that wasn't very deep, and they found human remains, some pieces of clothing, and a dental arch. Well, towards the end of the month of December. In September, the Midwest Coroner's Office confirmed that hole on the top of the skull was made by a bullet, and the shot was from close range. The coroner confirmed that this was the cause of death. On December 11th, 2018, the remains were sent to the Human Identification Center at the University of Texas to the Forensic Anthropology Unit for further inspection. In March of 2019, the Sheriff's Office decided to send some samples for DNA solutions in Oklahoma for forensic genealogy. In February of 2020, almost a year after the samples were sent to Oklahoma, the bones were determined to have ancestral ties with Combo Wines, and that matched DNA with Gary's. Well, with this information, the police ended up gathering the facts, realized that the missing report made in 2014 referred to the disappearance of Gary, which took place in 2013, wasn't just a disappearance, and it was very strange that the family only reported it a year after the occurrence. So the police called Connie, Gary's wife, for the interrogation in February 2020. In this interrogation, she kept the same version as her son, but she added some information. She said her husband left home and never returned because he took $5,000.
Cash dollars,
$0.45.
5.
Clothes and the wedding ring of the two, and that their son had told her that he had left in a gray patrol driven by someone unknown. Gary, Connie, and Austin lived together in Elko, New Market. The officers took DNA samples from Austin and ran tests to see if they were indeed Gary's remains. A few days later, the DNA result confirms that it was Gary.
Come on.
To his icon, mother and son had already moved from the old city where they lived. So the police went to their old residence where they lived with Gary, and they went to talk to the former neighbors. The neighbors described Gary as a man with a very difficult temperament. He would curse the neighbors for any silly thing that happened, also called the police for any small thing. So he wasn't very well liked. He wasn't a very easy person to deal with, and not a very beloved person for being very rude and cursing his neighbors a lot. The neighbors also reported that Cone and Alston became more sociable after Guel disappeared. When the police came to ask if they had seen anything strange, in the year 2013, some neighbors claimed that in August of 2013, Austin and Coney had a garage sale, which is quite popular in the United States. You know, they just put it up for sale, many men's clothes and many tools. And Guilherme was a mechanic, but Gallo was not present at this garage sale. Some neighbors found it a bit strange because what was being sold, understood it seemed to be Gary's things, both the clothes and mainly the tools, but he was not present during this garage sale. Two neighbors, they went to speak to the police. They saw the truck parked in the yard and they found this very strange because Gary,
Thank you.
much better than what is not. He made it perfect. He was extremely meticulous and he would never put his truck in that part of the yard. And it was a part that had a door
Tip that led to the basement of the house.
They reported that the truck was there around 10 o'clock in the night until about 1 o'clock in the morning. And while they were looking, all that movement,
The food. They saw the
Connie and Austin carrying something that looked like a carpet.
food.
A very large carpet on the back of the pickup truck.
Bye.
Still from the window, the two neighbors say they saw the crown. You are washing the basement. And they found it very weird, right, guys? Because who's going to clean at night? Are there people who do? Are there other people who do? It does, but it's very rare. Things were piling up. They take out a rolled up carpet. No one saw Gary anymore. Then they took out many black bags, and instead of putting them in the trash can, they also put them in the truck's bed. It was very suspicious. The next morning,
Darn, my connection is no longer.
he wasn't there anymore. The neighbors no longer saw Austin, and for about 2 days, and she never saw Gerin again. The police also found it interesting to talk to the new residents of the house, which was the house where...
Yay.
And I looked at myself as if his wife and his son to see if they had found anything strange around there. So the new residents told the police that when they were renovating the Quran, they found a very strange stain on the composite floor. So the investigators entered the house to check where there was a blood stain, if they could find anything else. And after they did the test to see if it would react and show blood stains, splashes, those things, the police confirmed that the stain on the concrete was indeed blood, which also had a blood stain, a rubber rug that was on the basement floor. There was also blood around the glass door. That was enough for the heart. And blood on the drywall and wooden beams. So there was quite a lot of blood almost everywhere in that basement. But the blood on the glass door matched Gary's DNA, meaning it was probably from either the mother or the son. I don't think it matched with Go's DNA, and it could be your mother's blood. And the other stains did not have enough genetic material to determine whether it was Gilliam or not. After all these discoveries, the police went to talk to...
Great.
During the conversation, Alshi told the police that his father constantly physically abused his mother, and
Likewise.
so it wasn't rare for his father to be offending his mother, judging
and hitting and
sometimes he was also violent with Austin, but it was more directed towards his mother. But Austin, seeing this whole situation with his mother, he began to understand, to live in these aggressions. So your mother wouldn't suffer so much. In this way, he became her protector. So folks, after Austin's report to the police, the DNA that didn't match with Gary's on the glass door
Who was hitting the basement.
that I mentioned earlier.
could be from one of these aggressions that Cohn suffered. This wasn't clear in any research I did, just that it was inferable. The policeman had a search warrant for the new residents, Moni and Aochi. They lived in New Prague in the state of Minnesota, and there they learned the two cell phones. The investigators had access to all the exchanged messages between Horn and Bone, and in those messages, Coney warned Austin. On June 24th, the television channel was talking about remains that were being investigated, and she asked her son to call her immediately. On July 18th, Akoni sent another message too. In the message, she said she didn't want to ruin his vacation, just that the police were investigating and the newspapers were already reporting the homicide case. I wish Austin knew. The police confirmed that Austin was on vacation with his friends. It's one of Austin's friends. Confirmed that his mother called him during the holidays. This whole investigation led to an arrest warrant for both Aoshi and Cohn.
On November 18th, 2018.
In 2020, Cohn was originally charged with second-degree murder.
Still in 2020,
Guys,
but
she made a deal and the charges were dropped.
and she was sentenced to
To be an
penalty.
accomplice to your son, then an accomplice to your son.
Bonnie was sentenced to 2 years and 3 months.
demanding prison for having been
And
fulfilled.
those of your son.
Austin was convicted in June of 2021 for second-degree murder of his father and is serving a 12.5-year sentence. Well, Auschwitz claims to have done the right thing because, according to him, if he didn't do that, his mother would end up dying, and that very night, his mother could have died because of her father's assaults. Now I'm going to say Aoshi's exact words. His words were, "If I had stayed out, my mother would be dead. I know what I did and why I did it. I did, and to this day I am confident that my decision was justified." Well, folks, in this case, there were many people talking about Garrett's temperament. And based on what everyone said, and what Cohn said, what Aoshi also said, and the witnesses who were there, who were the neighbors, who knew his way, both Connie and Austin, they didn't get one penalty shot. Austin is sure he did the right thing because he took on the role of being his mother's protector. Whether he did the right thing or not, he received help. Give him that. So much so that he's serving his sentence. Cohn got a lighter sentence. And from what the neighbors themselves said, the life of the two apparently had greatly improved with the disappearance. So I don't really have much opinion to give on this case because I find it very complicated when one of the sides theoretically is an aggressor
and does
there
not
weren't any assault
hear
reports to the police nor anything of that sort. And the other side committed the homicide to stop the assaults. And she did not go to the police to report self-defense or anything of the sort. So I find it very complicated.
Every opinion
There are
in
some
this.
cases, because we weren't there, nobody was there, only they were there, they know what happened, and justice is already judged. So that was the case today. I ask that you please leave your like. I would really like you to subscribe to the channel and leave in the comments what you thought. I'll be very happy if you comment. So I'll see you in the next video. Until then,